Hi guys, it's psychic medium Sarah Lemos here. I'm a world-renowned psychic medium and have a awesome channel here on YouTube. I do work in my own community, but I also work around the world as a medium and a psychic. And I get lots of questions about what's it like? What's it like being a sensitive? What's it like? And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about claircognates, the clear knowing, those true psychics out there. I feel a lot of times their main clair will be knowings. This is also a very confusing gift to have because knowers assume that everybody else does this, that everybody else has a thought, and that thought creates an action and creates more unfolding. And that's true. But a knower is gifted thoughts at the highest level. So they will receive information through a thought that can change their lives or others in a very positive and beautiful way. I do feel like the inventors of our world are those that not only listen to those thoughts, but act on those thoughts and create a world of knowing, create cars, create buildings, and create ideas, electricity, all these things I feel were gifted from spirit. And I believe they were gifted to those who are claircognate, clear knowers. Clear knowers are those who know who's calling before, the phone even rings. They know to go right or left. They don't need to use directions. They tend to just go in and all of a sudden they just know. They start putting things together. Why would you want to know this? Because I believe that the more you know about the way you were made, if you are a claircog, if you're someone who's a clear knower, you can create your best life by using and stretching this gift, because it's absolutely a gift. It's absolutely a gift to be a knower. I myself am more of an empath. I'm more of a seer. And I would say my claircognate is my last of my beautiful gifts. But that doesn't mean I haven't studied what claircognates, people of the knower, as I call them, knowers, how they are and what they experience in the world around them. They tend to be very educated. It's soothing. They don't just like learning. It's soothing to learn. So reading before bed, watching the Discovery Channel, watching, educational TV is soothing for them. It's soothing for the brain. And we use self-soothing techniques because of how we are affected also additionally by our gift. So claircogs, knowers, tend to be put down in school for being a know-it-all. They tend to be more used in work situations. They'll be overworked. They will be given way more workload than others in their team because they can manage it. So one thing about knowers is you have to be very careful with who your boss is and be very clear with your boundaries what you're willing to do. I have a cousin that I feel is very much a claircog, very much a clear knower. And I used to watch her at work because we worked at the same place, and she would get so much more work than anybody else. She also would do so much more, typing, filing, phone calls. Like, her brain just worked really well, and they could throw a lot at her and she could just figure it out. She didn't have to ask questions, which for any boss would be awesome because it's like, oh, sweet, she just does the work and I don't have to explain anything. Well, if you think about that, she's not only using her body and her brain, but she's also using her psychic gift. She's using her senses to do the work, which is really exhausting. So you're using all of your form. You're using your physical form, your mental form, and your spiritual and slash emotional form. And so that can be very exhausting. It can be very tiresome. So I watched her learn to start making big boundaries. Like, if you give me this much work, this is the amount of work I'm doing this week. She used to say things like, awesome, I will get to this after I finish the following. And she would do that. She would make it clear that she was not going to push through, but that she has a schedule and that she sticks to it. So I noticed that that helped her, because if not, she could simply just become a workhorse and lose herself in the world around her because of that beautiful gift of being a knower. Knowers, if you want to strengthen your gift, if you want to practice your gift, if you want to make that muscle so big it's not even funny, just like, yeah. Some tests, some things you can do to practice are things like, you can try to see what someone's going to be wearing the next day at work. You can just like sit before bed. What is so-and-so going to wear? Try to see it, try to know it, to let it come through. Just know what's she going to wear. She's going to wear a jean skirt and she's going to wear a white shirt. And if you go to work the next day and she's wearing a jean shirt and a white skirt, you still win. Those are the type of games that I would suggest. Those are the type of games I have my students play. The big thing about it is if you get it right, you want to celebrate. If you get it wrong, no big deal. Don't let it affect you. You're practicing, you're working out, you're stretching, you're trying to grow as an individual. So don't knock yourself. Allow yourself that space to learn. And when you get it right, celebrate. When you get it, you're like, yes, she was wearing a jean skirt and a white shirt, and this is freaking awesome, and I'm doing it. Other things you can do are, the next song that's going to come on, is it male or female? So that's another thing that I teach all my students is, playing these type of games really does strengthen, because you start to trust and allow. And most of my students know my biggest thing is trust and allow. Trust the information that's coming in and allow it through. Trust the information that's been gifted to you because it was gifted for a reason, and allow. We were given our senses to create our world around us. And the ones that we fall deep into, because I'm a seer and a feeler, my whole world is wrapped around seeing and feeling. So the way I explain things, the way I create things, so why not grow that so that I can be even better at it? I'm sure that kind of makes sense. So knowers also, amongst studying and constantly want to learn and constantly want to progress, is you also fill your time with games, mind games, like doing phone, word games or number games or, Sudoku or whatever. You guys tend to like that kind of stuff. I wouldn't ever play those games. I don't care how bored I am. I would never play those games, but it's just not my Claire. It's not my sense. It's not how I see the world. It's not how I act in the world. So for me, I would be reading about emotion, or I would be, those type of things. You guys will like to play those type of games. And again, it's soothing. So how can you use this gift to help yourself and help others? Great question. The way you can do it is a lot of psychics use cards. Knowers like to have a system. So you'll notice that most knowers tend to want to do tarot. They're going to want to do astrology, or they're going to want to do numerology. Why? Because it's a thought-based healing modality. Thought-based healing modality. So what you're doing is you're structuring something because it makes sense to you, and then you're able to give the reading based on not only your gift, but a systematic way of doing something. And so you'll notice that knowers really enjoy continuing their spiritual path as long as there is a path. And as long as it's something that's already established and has some proof or evidence behind it, you guys are all about evidence. You guys are all about proof. You're all about those type of things. Because again, it's soothing. It makes sense. You're able to, you guys don't like it when things don't make sense. You like to be told things. You like information. You like the info. And then you'll go from there. Is it right or wrong for yourself? So, claircognates, they really love their reading. They love their math. They love educating themselves through books. It's harder to get you guys to meditate. When I have students that are knowers, I always have you guys do a guided meditation because your brain has to stay active. So you could probably kind of see now how I teach, because it's very important to keep those that are knowers in their comfort, because you guys will bounce. You guys will bounce. You'll be like, nope, I'm done. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't equate. Doesn't equal something. I'm done. This is too frustrating. You start to self-doubt. I will tell you that a lot about knowers is you guys have a lot of self-doubt. You doubt everything. You doubt who you are. There's a lot of self-doubt. And I think that's very makes a lot of sense that you guys that would be difficult for you. Trust is also a huge thing for knowers, because you guys have calculated the world around you in a way that is literally a graph. So when these things happen, this is what it equals. And it doesn't matter if that's true or not. It doesn't matter if things have changed. It doesn't matter, because you have the proof. And if you have the proof, that's all you guys need. And then there's no change or shift after that. So that's something to be aware too for knowers, is that you guys tend to also very much get caught in your own way. You will stop yourself from growth. You will create opportunity for questions. Could this be real? Am I really doing this? Those kind of things. I'm not saying that not everybody across the board is going to have those type of questions, but mostly it's you knowers. Mostly it's you knowers. I love working with claircogs. I love working with knowers. Those that clair is simply knowing. And I'm envious. There's a part of me that's envious, because I would want that. I would want to know so quickly just what's going on, what's happening, what's next. It would be so cool. It'd be so cool to be able to really be able to understand that fast. And as long as you could trust it and let it come out, trust it and let it live either in writing or live in your words, you could create such magic. You could write books. You could start TV series. You could make the next great car. But the thing about it is that in your own gift is your worst enemy. Like, you guys have that give and take 24/7. And it's so true, because you guys will have this amazing thought, and then you will talk yourself out of it within the next 5 to 10 minutes. You will literally talk yourself out of your own truth. So you'll find a way to talk yourself out of the most amazing thing that could happen for our world. Those that actually listen. Now, it's those that are invested into understanding that my thoughts are gold. You know, you claircogs, your thoughts are gold. They can absolutely be what creates a very successful, amazing, true life with money and, growth and all these different things, if you listen and you show up and you follow through. Now, how would you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you how to do that. If you want to hear, is write it down. First thing you need to do is, after you have a big knowing, a big aha moment where you're like, wow, could I really do that? Is you want to write it down. You're going to want to write down everything you saw, felt, knew, everything that was in your brain, write it down without dissecting it. So it was gifted to you is a clear message through your thought. Write down the thought. Don't write down your answer to the thought. Don't try to fix the thought. Don't try to manipulate the thought. Write down the thought in its complete self. So this was my thought, and I don't care how much you disagree with it or how you could make it better. At this point in time, we're not doing that. At this point in time, we're simply writing down the thought. Okay? Once we write down the thought, we've given it so much power. We've given it the next step. The first step is having the thought. The second very powerful step is writing that down. Okay? Because you've now brought it into our reality. You've now brought it into this domain. You have now downloaded your info into this space and time. This is very powerful. So what I tell knowers to do all the time is get file folders for different thoughts that you have and start bringing in more thought around it. So the next time you had another thought about this invention or this new modality or this new way of living, you're going to add it to you're going to add it straight into that file. And once you've created enough info into your file, that's when you would go into a meditative state. So when you're ready and you have a lot of info and you want to know what this all could mean, you're going to sit, and I would suggest, again, this is going to have to be a process that you are okay with. So I'm not going to have someone who's a knower sit there and meditate for hours, because you guys, your brains aren't going to slow down enough for that. Now, I would love it if they did for you. Like, meditation is awesome. So if you could get there, get there. But the reality of it is knowers don't tend to go there. It's not their favorite thing to do. So simply turning on some jazz music, some quiet, soothing music in the background. What this will do, it will trick your brain to let you knowers know that it's okay to chill. So the music's on. What I want you to do is pull out your folder. I want you to pull out all your info, and I want you just to simply read it. I want you to go over it a few times. And once you're finished with reading it, you're then going to write an additional page. And this is your summary. This is your summary. And then after your summary is written, so this is what I got from all my pages, all my notes. These are the chunks. This is the good stuff. The next is your to-do list. So you would then, in the same setting, during this same session, listening to your jazz music, reading over all your notes, you're then going to summarize it, because this is what your brain loves to do. And then you're going to make your to-do list. I always suggest go backwards. So what I mean by that is you've already created this new machine that creates clean oxygen into the world. And you just cut the ribbon at your ceremony and everybody's clapping. What did you do prior to that? So pulled the machine out of a storage unit. I bought the storage unit from this place. This is how much the storage unit is. Prior to that, I rented a space to blah, 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 blah. So go all the way back, working backwards, all the way to the day where you're sitting here writing your to-do list. That should actually be on how to get this done. Then you will create a calendar and a work schedule completely based around this, and you will start creating that connection daily or weekly to your main goal of creating what this should be. Now, you are going to have a very hard time with this. And this is very across the board with knowers, is that you're going to start questioning things. You're going to start rethinking. You're going to see flaws. You're going to see imperfections. What I want you to do is show up every day with your to-do list and do what was on your to-do list. You are free to worry if that's what you want to do. You are free to dissect the whole plan every single night if that's what you want to do. But once you've made that to-do list, your job is to show up and do what is on the to-do list. That's your job. And that's how a knower will create reality. Okay, so this is kind of powerful stuff that I think is kind of cool as I'm sitting here. Those of you that know me, as I channel this information, so it's kind of neat to actually hear what's coming through right now, and actually be able to process along with you guys. My guides are pretty cool. They're really connected. Gillian and Mark are pretty amazing, and they tend to give me a lot of really great stuff. I will start something and they will start channeling stuff through me. And it's kind of cool to be like, whoa, I'm going to stop for a minute here and just thank my guides for the information that I'm being given, because they're working pretty hard today. And I'm very grateful for that. So that said, don't forget to, if you're interested, please feel free to like the channel and subscribe, of course. And check me out on Facebook at Medium Sarah Lamos. It's a fun, we got groups and we've got all kinds of stuff going on in Facebook land. And I pull cards every Wednesday on Facebook and share readings with people from around the world. So back to it. Those knowers are claircogs. If these are the type of things that you're willing to do, if you're willing to stay in practice, if you're willing to make your to-do list, you're going to see huge change in your life. I would suggest you will see a big difference in the way your world looks, because you're going to start practicing and thriving and striving in the manner that you already are. So a lot of times we read self-help books which is awesome. And we go to counseling, which is killer. And we do all these things, but we don't do it from the place of our clair. And if we don't do it from the place of our clair, it's probably not going to stick. It's probably not going to stick. So if a knower is like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to meditate every single day. That's probably going to work for 1 or 2 days, unless it's a guided meditation, just because the brain works. Or a knower really will want to know what type of exercises they're going to do, know the diet plan, know something really, really well, but could fall short if they don't have a to-do list. If they don't have a list every single day that says, I'm going to write down my food and I'm going to write down my exercises and I'm going to have a buddy that I communicate with and talk about these things. Even though those are great skills, they're very much claircognate skills. So things that would work for a claircognate or a knower aren't going to work for me. So they're just not going to work the same. I'm going to need emotional support. I'm going to need, And a knower is going to want journaling. They're going to want journal. They're going to want proof. They're going to want Fitbit or some other thing that keeps them tied to numbers, because numbers equal something for them. And so if those numbers equate this reality, then they are safe and comfortable. Me, I'm just going to be like, well, it feels like I worked out really hard today. And so I'm going to talk to my friend about that. And we're going to laugh and we're going to laugh and we're going to probably joke about my protein shake and da-da-da-da-da. That's what an empath, that's what a feeler is going to do. So you can see that it's important for you to know which clair, there's a primary and a secondary clair that you work with. Because for me, that's how I structure all my education. That's how I structure everything, is for life coaching and mentoring programs that I do. It is all based around how you see and perceive the world. Because if you are educated in any other way, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. And they suggest that with learning disabilities, you have to learn with your other abilities so that you can actually educate. I would suggest it goes deeper than that. It's how we were born, how we were brought in, and how we are connected to the cosmos can really is the difference between living and surviving. So if you want to live in this world and you actually want to thrive and you want to experience joy and happiness and love and all these things, then it's going to be really important that you do it through your clairs. And so I have another video here on Facebook that talks a little bit more about the differences, and we'll be going live again next week talking about what it's like to be an empath, someone who is a clairsentient, someone who feels all the time. I will be, of course, talking about how you see the world, how you can create in this world, and how you can make it your best life. Again, if you like it, please subscribe, and definitely come along on the rest of these exciting explorations, as I like to say, pathways to spirit, because we all have a different pathway, but we're all headed in the same direction. Most of us want to create our best life. Most of us want to laugh our heads off and find love and find our truth and grow. And, that's why we're attracted to the things we're attracted to. But I think we can go deeper. And that's the exciting thing, is like, why not go deeper? Why not thrive and strive? Why not know why the world looks the way it does to you? And how is it slowing you down being a claircog? How can you speed up your success? How can you make more money? How can you find true love? How can you do all these things based in the idea of the way you see the world, how you are born into the cosmos, how it is that we are what we are, and creating a new way of thinking or a new way of communicating with ourselves so the world becomes an easier place to live in. And truly, that's what I have found through years of teaching, years of mentoring, is that's the comments I get back from my clients. My clients come back to, the world is a easier place. The world is a better place. I'm able to manage stress better. I'm able to manage my emotions more. I'm able to calm my thoughts down. All of these things can absolutely be subjected to a new way. We can constantly change. We can constantly grow, and we can constantly allow ourselves to hit that next level, is to create the next smile, create the next time to laugh, or sit with loved ones, or create a sacred space within our home that also matches all these things. So that's what this channel is all about, is who are we and how can we live our best lives? And I allow my guides to speak through me when I sit with you, and allow that bright light of source through me to give you the information that you might need to live your best life. And I do that through my own clairs, which is just great, because that's how I've learned to become who I am today. And that is a psychic medium who is blessed to travel the world and help those that are ready for change. And I guess that becomes the question. Are you ready to change? Are you ready for a healthier new life? Are you ready to strive? Are you ready to thrive? Because if so, these are some things that I think that very much could help you in this new endeavor of life. So to learn more, keep coming back, guys. And thanks again for watching today. And now you know what it's like to be a knower, what it might be if you know somebody in your life that has these kind of ways of being. You can kind of understand them a little bit more and understand how they process. And so sending each and every one of you tons of light and love. And thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you want more information, run over to Facebook, check out Medium Sarah Lemos. Sending light and love, guys. Take care.